Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today, are reviewing Halloween Ends. So I know it's a little late. The movie came out about a week or so. We finally got around to watching it, and I have to say, it is a pretty unsatisfying and disappointing end to this huge franchise. Now, if you saw my review of the last film, I thought that one was exceptionally bad. The 2018 Halloween was really a nice reboot to the franchise. It was great bringing us back into this world, kind of retconning some of the things that people didn't like about the other stories, the other Halloween films. But just to have it wrapped up in this way, it just feels like maybe we didn't even need that last movie, honestly. Now, this film takes place 4 years after the last film, and you do get like a 5 to 10 minute long thing that tells you everything that happened in the last movie, which kind of makes it pointless. And personally, I really disliked that film. I gave that film, I think, like a 2 out of 10 or something like that. This one is a little bit better than that one, but still it misses the mark on some of the things that I feel as a Halloween fan I love about the franchise. Michael is not in it that much. He should have been in it obviously a lot more. The relationship between Laurie and Michael is something that kind of made these films interesting. It's one of the things that kept it going for all these years. And the fact that it kind of doesn't get to capitalize on that much, you do get some cool moments, particularly at the end of the film. I think the third act of the film saves it a little bit for me, but for a lot of this movie, we're focusing on another character. And that character is Corey Cunningham. You find out very early in the film that he was involved in an accident that involved the death of a child, and it's kind of ruined his life. It's kind of spiraled him into this dark place where he's becoming evil. That's one of the themes of this movie. It's talking about the idea of creating evil and evil just shifting from one person to another, and that Michael is just this evil force that can be manipulated and changed. And I don't know, I like what they were going with this premise of, anyone could become Michael. Evil is universal and it's out there and it never ends. It just kind of changes forms. So I thought that was an interesting premise. But to focus the last film, well, supposedly the last film in this franchise, on a different character and make Michael kind of just over on the sidelines, it was a weird choice, at least for me personally as a fan of the franchise. For a lot of this movie, Michael is just in a sewer. Why he's in a sewer, maybe I missed something, but at the end of the last film, I don't know why he all of a sudden is like not able to do anything. He doesn't have any of his, I guess, powers, would you say, and he's just laying around. He's just some dude in a sewer. And then Corey finds him, kind of props him up, brings him back into his like prime, but then he takes over his persona. It's just some of the decisions they made, it just doesn't make sense to me. Also, a lot of the characters make dumb decisions, but we come to expect that from horror films. Laurie's granddaughter, who she's trying to build this relationship with, she's kind of a dumb character. She's someone that falls for this guy very quickly, defends him, goes against her grandmother who has been through all this, who you probably would want to, learn from her and understand from her, but you don't. You go with this rando weird guy who's clearly unhinged. It's just so bizarre. Even Laurie herself, while I do think Jamie Lee Curtis did a pretty good job, she's always been great as this character, it's so weird seeing this shift from the 2018 film where she is kind of this badass, it's what you expect her to become from dealing with Michael for all these years. She's like grizzled, she wants to defeat him. The last film, she's kind of put on the sidelines in the hospital. And in this one, because of the time jump, it's like a happy-go-lucky grandmother in the beginning. Then she does get better towards the end, so I do like that it shifts. Like I said, the third act of this movie saves it for me to some degree. There are some really intense kills in the third act, even though not necessarily Michael is doing them. I'll go into like a little bit of spoilers just because I think everyone's probably seen the movie that's going to see it at this point. And obviously, we do get somewhat of a definitive ending. The way that they kill Michael, they finally destroy him. I'm glad they did it that way instead of leaving it open. If you really are going to end this franchise and end Michael's run, that's one way to do it. But I always feel like they're going to find some way. And then this one, they find the way of kind of evil just is going to transfer. Someone else is going to become him or become the new bad guy in the Halloween franchise. I don't really want that. I mean, if they want to do it, they can try. It's not something that I'm interested in. But I feel like this movie could have been so much better if we could have just really focused on the relationship between Laurie and Michael and got a satisfying ending. It just didn't feel like that. It felt like the last act rushed in, hey, we have to put Michael in this. He has to fight her. He has to have this big final confrontation. While that was fun, and I liked that part, that should have been most of the movie. It shouldn't have been the last third act, and we shouldn't have just focused 80% of this movie on this random guy that just, honestly, at least for me, I didn't connect with. I didn't care about him. I know maybe a little over the top, and because I'm so close to this franchise, I love the first film. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and seeing it kind of get cast off in this way, very unsatisfying. So if I were to rate this movie, I would give it a 3 out of 10. I think the third act gives it a little bit. If we didn't have that third act, and Michael just didn't do anything like it felt like it was going to happen, this movie could have easily been a 1 or a 0. It's better than the last one just because I think the last one's so cheesy and just everything about it, the messaging just feels so muddled and so heavy-handed, and even this one has that to some degree. I think it's a little bit better just because of the ending. But again, it's just a disappointing movie after the setup we had from the first one. Made everybody feel like this is like the comeback for Halloween. And just having it sent off in this way, yeah, that's not much more to say about it. If you watched Halloween Ends, let me know what you thought about it. Did you dislike it as much as me? Maybe you enjoyed it. I would love to hear from somebody who actually really liked this movie. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I was too heavy into being a fan of Michael Myers, and I kind of just brushed aside all the other nuance at the beginning of the film. But I don't know. Like I said, just pretty disappointing. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.